Giorgia Meloni. Giorgia Meloni.
Is that the fascist?
She's the fascist.
Listen, like, I don't understand. I would not let anyone talk that way. Like, that's aggressive speech. I'm like, girl, with this thing, no one knows about history. No one knows about history. But that's an aggressive way to speak to an audience. I couldn't imagine anyone being all riled up and like being like, yeah, no, that doesn't sound like you want to kill people at all. She's like, no gender identities, no LGBT people. You're all gonna die. And it's like, and then people are like applauding. It's very strange.
Yeah, they hate us. Italian Catholics have notoriously for millennia,
which is funny because Catholic dominated repressed cult countries typically have like gay scene in Mexico work. That shit is
we revolve real hard in the places where it's hardest, but when we have our enclaves, but Mexico doesn't have a fascist leader currently, so we will see what happens.
Hello, YouTubes.
We're good.
We are. No, you yelled at me to get the ball rolling.
Ready.
Because I was getting more fucking words in already. You think I'm tuckered out now? You think you can get another word in?
I do worry about your stamina sometimes with all of the marijuana in your body. I never know.
Don't you ever worry. Listen, I will always word vomit something.
Too much. Yeah.
Do you want to do a show? Because I haven't smoked a lot of weed today. Honestly, I have been up since 5:30 and I have only been smoking since 8. So
okay. So this is the sweet spot. Let's do it.
Do you want to start?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna get the timer up and I'm gonna give you like a 3.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Gay Power Half Hour, the only gay podcast on the internet that's just like Vladimir Putin, because we're here to recruit all your viable men. With President of your War Council, Casey Lai, and...
Hi, I am Officer of the Interior. I don't fucking know anything about the war juggernaut. Sorry, couldn't stand that one.
I will say that you do know a lot about getting up in things. So
I do. Listen, in the Navy, we could sail the 7 seas. I love a good Village People song, and they were really fond of the armed services. That group,
some of our finest service members, actually, throughout history, they swabbed poop decks. They some of them survived the AIDS crisis. I thank them for their service. Is what I really do.
Oh, hi, I'm Tony Soto, by the way. Sorry, I don't think I put a button in that. So hi, Casey.
We know who you are. God damn it.
We do. I am known within like some circles. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. I have a question for you. If someone came and knocked on your door and said, you have to go and fight in a war tomorrow. Oh, give it a couple. We'll give you a little bit of training. We're gonna have to tighten up your wrists a bit because you're gonna have to hold the gun. We're gonna have to figure out some ways to get you to stop smoking weed for like a couple of days. And you can smoke once you're there, but like during the basic training, you have to be on task. And we're gonna have to go kill a bunch of motherfucking Ukrainians who don't deserve it. We all know that, but you're gonna have to do it. What would you do?
At this point, I've aged out of it, right?
Break your arm.
Like at this point, I've aged out of a draft, right? Like well, we're not there. So like, I mean, at this point, like when I do the perfect push-up at my house, like sometimes my thumb hurts. I couldn't imagine like having to shoot a gun. You know what? I've been cutting papers for like a couple of days for a Battle Babies thing. Hurt my thumb. It hurts. So I couldn't imagine. First of all, I would never fight for a country, not even the one I live in. You know what I mean? I'm not a blind patriot. I know hands are dirty. So, but in Russia, it's interesting because, what's happening there right now is he is literally taking any able-bodied gentleman and is like, hey, you have to fight. So there is a mass migration. There are caravans of white Russian faces headed towards the borders of Russia. Some countries are taking them in. Some countries are like, nah, you gotta turn back.
Yeah.
So my question is, because after watching this, there's a bunch of people who are like, I don't want to fight for this war. I don't believe in Putin's war. And it's like, okay, now, and I know that there was protests happening in Russia. I know that there have been protests happening since the war began in Russia. But it's like, now you're escaping. Now you're just fleeing. And it's like, where were you before? Like, now we have to be invested in your care now, when it's like, you were still cool enough to stay, but now you're losing the war. Now you're losing.
Yeah.
And it's obvious.
I see both sides. I think that on the one hand, sure, a lot of cowards. Like there's and a lot of a lot of warmongering cowards. There was a prank call done by some activists who they called up I think his name is Peskov, who is the Putin's spokesperson. They called up his son, who's like 33, and told him he had to come in to sign up for the war. He's being recruited for it, and he's been summoned for it. And the kid was like, no, this is all wrong. Like, there's clearly some mistake. Don't you know what my name is? Yeah. And so he was just like, I'm not fighting in this war. And so, there's always going to be those cowards. On the other hand, like, most Russians, like every other country in a authoritarian regime, every other population under an authoritarian regime, they're like, I mean, shit sucks. So I'm not gonna bring things worse for me by protesting against this war that I know is bad. And I'm not letting him off the hook, but I'm like, but now all of a sudden it's like, we have to, and again, it's like, before it was like, we're just using the army. It's a special military operation. It's NBD. We're taking what was rightfully ours, a giant country to the east of us, no big deal. Or the west
because the referendum still went through with a 96% success rate that these territories want to go and become Russia, which it's just like this war is going to escalate. Like but the problem is, like, because this whole referendum is so that he can make the war more violent, because he's like, now they're coming for this is Russia. This is us now. Right. And the thing is like, if you're at a loss for troops this early on, and you've been toying with nuclear bullshit since the beginning of this, what is your next option when you kill off all of these new crops of soldiers that you come? Because Ukraine is not backing down.
No, I mean, I think nuclear nonsense is the final solution, for lack of a better term, and that is terrifying. But the troops that have already been ground up by the Ukrainians, we're the good troops. they're the professional troops. So these fucking farmers and artists.
I mean, yeah, you're just pulling people off the street. And this is the thing too. This is a concern that I heard today about the Americans who have dual citizenship there. Like, they're saying, get out, bro. Yeah. Like, you need to get out of there because they're gonna snatch you up and they're gonna make you fight.
There is zero way in my mind that Putin can actually win this war for Russia in any way that is beneficial to them as a country. So I don't fully, and that's scary, because no one knows what his end game is, because like there's no way he lasts, I mean, but it doesn't mean he's not going to use nuclear weapons. And I think you're right, the referendums where he's annexed parts of the annexed areas of Ukraine, which he has stolen and is now forcing a referenda on, that is now technically Russia, and it says within Russian law that you can't use nuclear weapons unless parts of Russia are being attacked and invaded, and so those are now parts of Russia. So that is scary. But the other thing is, like, there is and I'm not trying to give any sort of rational justification to any of Putin's actions, but I do think that the reason he did all of this was to restore Russia's greatness, because he truly is a believer in the idea that Russia is the greatest country on earth and has the ability, should be pushing back against the West.
How far back are you going in history where that matters, though?
That a lot of years. But he knows that nuclear weapons will be the absolute destruction of Russia as they know it. So I don't know.
But I think that he's a madman. So honestly, I think like he's, in the ways of like Gaddafi. So who fucking knows? He could off himself in a moment and just fucking set it all ablaze. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's a concern that like I just don't understand. Like, we're basically fighting this war. We're funding it. You know what I mean? Like we're paying for it. So we're in it. We're in it. So
question. If America was like, we got to put troops on the ground and we've run out of all the good troops, we got to knock on some of these fags' doors. And then they knock on your door.
Y'all are in trouble. Y'all are in real trouble.
But my thumb hurts. And they're like, well, you have 9 other good digits, my friend. Would you fight for America?
You're out of would
you break your own arm?
First of all, I wouldn't break I would fucking just hightail it. I can find a ride to Canada. You know what I mean? I have a passport.
What if I will shut down the board? Canada's like, we don't want all you fucking proto-Nazis up in our fucking space.
Then I'll go down to Mexico. I'm sure they won't even argue with me.
We're very Catholic. No more homosexuals allowed. We're all teamed up over here. And so you're stuck at the border of fucking of New Mexico like a goddamn refugee. And
I'm burning my bra, bro. I'm burning my bra, bro. I'm burning.
I would wear the bra and burn it. So you would burn yourself pretty badly because there's a Google searches went way up for how to break your own arm.
That is so wild. First of all, that would not be my first inkling. That would not be my first inkling.
I'd be like, Mom, stab me in the leg now. Mom, if you're listening, I'm gonna want you to stab me in the leg.
There's vital veins in your leg. The thing is, I don't. No, and I don't know how I get. You know what? I would channel my Anne Frank realness, and I would find a nice, comfy attic, and I would just hang out there. But here's the thing: I wouldn't mess with all that helping other folks. You know what I mean? I'm not having any issues with people with heavy foots walking around upstairs drawing attention.
Only those who are light in the loafers are allowed up here. Okay?
No, not even that. I'm not bringing anyone because the thing is you can't trust anyone. So there are dear friends that I know. If I ever lived with them in a capacity, I would actually throw them out to the Russians. I'd be like, no, this is a fuck. Take them.
Yeah, no, it is a real conundrum because loose lips do sink ships, but they also suck some dicks. So you gotta really you gotta be careful.
But at some point we got. We're going to get to a place where we're going to, Putin's hopefully going to wind down and hopefully just peter out. But like now we got to be aware of there's now the female Hitler in Italy, and she yells at folks, aggressive. And that can either turn off a person who hopefully is a free thinker and aware, but that could also trigger the rubes into their like brainwashing mentality because they love being yelled at because they've always been yelled at.
Yeah,
what's her name?
Georgia Maloney, which I believe means Georgia Melons. Miss Georgia Melons.
Miss Georgia Melons.
Georgia Melons.
I do declare.
I believe she actually is also going to be on the next season of Drag Race.
She's on the next season of Dancing with the Stars on Disney Plus.
Miss Georgia Melons, everyone. Although following the trajectory of many right-wing politicians here in America, she might well end up on Dancing with the Stars.
I didn't know that she was invited to CPAC. I mean, I don't know why. I don't know why I was surprised. I truly don't know why I was surprised. But I pulled up the speech that she did at CPAC in English, and I can't believe that they stood for that broken English at CPAC. They're like, why isn't she cleaning the rooms? Like, what is happening?
Who is this Mexican lady up on the stage?
Tell Sophia to sit down.
That's Miss Morgan. That's Miss Georgia Melons.
Yeah,
yeah. But CPAC, they revere Viktor Orban in Hungary, who is the Hungarian fascist, and they love fascism, and it's not a joke, and it's scary how close it is. In my mind, I'm not super worried about Italy because they're just such a fucking messy country, and when it comes to their politics, they've had in the last 75 years, they've had 71 different governments, which is a lot of governments. And they get very bored easily. They love to be very, they're Italian. And I understand this. They get very excited about a thing and they get very, angry about it in the minute. But when it comes down to it, they just, want to have a little glass of vino and ride on their Vespa home and hopefully, not fall off a cliff in the Amalfi,
Well, the boot needs to relax is all I'm saying. The boot needs to chill because here's the thing. You don't have the forces behind it. First of all, like Italy, no one's looking at you, Italy. No, at this point, this is the most you've gotten. This is the most attention you've gotten because this is so silly because it's like, Italy, stop it. Just shh.
Yeah.
Gone are the days of Mussolini, Queen.
But it is not
shh, just to make it a pasta.
Mussolini's grand. Well, first of all, that's a little offensive. Second of all, I can say it. You can't. Third of all, Mussolini's daughter is like the mayor. She's like on the city council of Rome, which is also, it's like that just goes to show you, imagine if I don't know, Maria Hitler was the fucking city councilor for Berlin. I feel like that would raise a bunch of red flags to people. But instead, fucking,
Maria Hitler.
Yeah.
I want to read her story.
They wanted her to change her name, but she's like, I don't know, I just like the ring of Maria Hitler.
She's like, it's so off the wall. My parents were so kooky.
My parents were a little he had some big ideas. He loved Germany. In the end, what you can't say is that he didn't love Germany.
That's right.
Austria. So, give my granddaddy a little respect. And that's basically what they're saying. But Mussolini, a famous thing about Mussolini and the reason that he got to power and maintained power was that he made the trains run on time. And in Italy, a place that is notoriously fucking chaotic. Have you ever been to Rome or Naples? It is a fucking swirling shit show. And it's dirty. It's gorgeous. It's old. It's ancient. It's a lovely place to be for a moment. But to live there, it's fucking chaotic. And they every once in a while someone people want the fucking trains to run on time, and that's scary that they'll be like, but also I want the trains to run on time, and you know what I don't want on the trains? Faggots.
I was gonna say look, I'm all for getting somewhere on time, but she's not talking about trains. So if that's one of your issues, why was that not? I've watched a lot of her speeches since finding out about this gal. Nary a time have I heard about a train, but what I have heard about is stop telling me that women can have penises. LGBT people are crap, and it's like, girl, you're not saying you're saying all of the quiet stuff out loud, and people are giving her ovation, and I'm like, I hope fascism works for the boot, but then I just hope you be little fascists on your little boot. But
I don't want fascism to work on the boot because I want to go to Italy. I love going to Italy and mangiing all of the food. And
your people are dumb. Your people are dumb.
We're
people.
Chaotic. Okay, we're chaotic. And
you can paint dumb any way you want to make you feel good about it. But this woman talks with her. This woman does this. She's she's a lot of nothing about that says, oh, she's bringing us together.
No, I agree. And I do want to say, side note, Tony and I are taking an acting class together. And one of the main notes, but I've been told several times to fold my arms or keep my arms restrained because it's taking away from the acting. And I'm like, I'm sorry, maybe I'm not meant to be an actor. Maybe I'm meant to be an Italian fascist leader because I certainly know how to gesticulate for fucking effect. Okay?
Well, I was saying yesterday, I'm like, it's a challenge for us because we have overused our arms for a majority of our entire life. There's no reason for us to be using as much, talking with as much with our hands as we do. We should have relaxed ages ago, but no, we had enablers.
We did have enablers. Who were those enablers?
Fascists. I don't know.
Oh.
So I wanted to address something real quick because last week we talked about the new Ryan Murphy show, about Jeffrey Dahmer on the Netflix, and how I was talking about how it was sexy and how they kind of like sexied it up. And listen, someone commented, because I post clips of this show on my TikTok at the Tony Soto Show, and I posted a clip of that, and someone was like, "It makes me sick that this is the narrative that is being written or talked about. There are still victims that are alive today."
And you can just tell that commenter was talking with his hands.
Right. And then I was like, well, first of all, get well soon, because I hate to make anyone sick. But like, I don't know. And maybe I didn't stress it as much. I do smoke a lot of weed on the show, so I never really know the direction or trajectories on which we're going to go. But I think I said it was creepy. I said that I think I was like, I don't know. I don't agree with the sexying up of the Dahmer show. I don't think it's necessary to like insert, they show like the wooing aspects of, like, they show like the inner stuff, like you were talking about. You could only watch the one episode because they had the underage,
I had to turn it off. It made everything inside me squirm, because
it's like that's kind of like that's the kind of shit, that's the kind of like inner workings that like no one really knew about, outside of like what it was ever mentioned at the trial. So it's like you're taking liberties with it for sure. It's very Hollywood. I've not completed the series. I think I watched four or five shows, and it's like 10. But like, yeah, it's something that is uncomfortable to watch. So I agree. I'm just saying, like, I feel like it was Ryan Murphy's intention to sexy it up. And
I mean, I don't know if it's sexing it up. I mean, my issue again wasn't the sexiness of it. I didn't at one point watch it and was like, oh, I definitely want to jerk off to this pedophilic cannibal action that's happening here. Call me a prude. But I just was more like, I have a very imaginative brain for the dark side to begin with, and so like I don't need like a visual for like what happens after when you're naked on a bed and you've just had a fucking lobotomy and you're trying and you have to react. I don't need that experience on screen.
And by sexy, I mean the way he shoots it and the way it is like, look, like it is shot like very dark. Like, I'm not saying like I'm glorifying the fact that he fucked and ate kids. I'm saying like, but what I do believe is that if this was a fictional story, if this was a story that was created that never happened, I think the audience would be lapping it up. I think that it would be, and the one thing I think that people refuse to understand, and I think that we need to understand, and I think that you get a glimpse of in this show, is like, what is the link? What from the brain? Like, where do you get there? And it's so uncomfortable for people to think, oh, this guy even existed. Like, but look, folks, he did. And truth be told, there are people out there right now eating folks. So let's not pretend like Jeffrey Dahmer's story is so unique, because it isn't.
It's pretty unique. I will give it that.
A lot of cannibals. Gacy did it. Fucking. Oh, he just fucked him. Right? He didn't need him. He just fucked him. Yeah, he didn't need him. Yeah. But like, listen, there are some eaters.
Gacy was tame compared to Dahmer.
But there are some eaters out there. I'm just saying, what we should be talking about, and I think what is important, is the fucking lack of police support in those neighborhoods at the time. So like, I was watching The View, and they're saying like one of the cops just retired in 2017 with a full pension. That seems fucking weird to me. And so it's important to talk about what the community the cops and shit in that community let happen to that neighborhood, because it's not like people weren't complaining. That's another thing that's important in the show. They have real tapes of the neighbor who called in 911 and said, it is fucking weird over there.
We get it. You love the show. I get it.
No, I'm just kidding. Yes, I get it. I don't mean to get heavy about it, but what I'm saying is we are so quick to just like push away uncomfortable history. But within this uncomfortable history, yeah, what people still being alive and affected by it, yeah, you don't want to see that. And so, I mean, don't watch. But it's like it happened, and it's important because it happened to the gay community, man. Like
I do hear that. I just, it's funny that you were saying like, if this was a fictional series, we'd be eaten up. But Hollywood is so homophobic; they would never make a movie about a queer, beautiful, cannibal murderer.
Oh my God, what if that's the twist in Bros? What if that's the twist in Bros? Like what if all this hype, the hands in the pockets, but really they scroll up and like Billy Eichner is eating the face of the fucking muscle daddy?
I don't know, but I will say there are many people in that movie, which I've seen already, chewing up the scenery. So I don't know if that's called cannibalism. I don't think it is. But yeah, the new first big studio released gay rom-com is coming out this week. Tony, are you rushing to the theaters to see it?
I mean, I will if I don't have to, like, you know. Yeah, I will. I have to go. I have to go as a gay person. I have to go. I also know people who are in this, you know, and and people who have worked on it and whatnot. Yeah. But here's what, like, for me personally, this gay person, I'm speaking to me and my homosexuality. I don't give a fuck about rom-coms. I don't care. I don't care about When Harry Met Sally. I don't care about find love and fucking settle. I don't like stories like that. So I don't need them to be gay. I don't need. Also, like, I don't like the idea, like, I'm a fucking nerdy gay. This is a muscle gay. Like, we could never be together. Like, shut the fuck up with that. All right. Like, it's so stupid and lame. And to me, but here's what I'm saying. Here's what I like and why I'll watch it. I like the idea of an all queer fucking cast of people playing all characters. I think that's the slap in the face that fucking the real world needs to see. It's like, oh shit, like the guy from the nerdy guy from what's that? Where the never mind, forget it. But there's a
okay.
I'm so sorry.
What are you talking about? Well, I'll help you. What are you talking
about? There's one of the actors in there, and he was on the show where Kerry Washington played Scandal. And he was like he was in fucking Half Baked. He was in Half Baked. Oh, he was Cuban B. Cuban B.
Jesus, stop yelling. It's so funny that Guillermo Diaz is who you're talking about. But you were saying nerdy guy because he has played so many
No, but he's very into comic books. Like he's a nerdy guy, you know, so in real life. But in real life, he's like a nerdy guy. Like
he played a drug dealer in Weeds. He's so funny. Guillermo Diaz is amazing.
Plus he loves Madonna. So that's his diva. So I like that. Like I like that aspect of it. So yes, I will watch it. But like my thing is like the way they like it's the rom-com for gays. I was like, oh God, I didn't like the rom-coms for straights. So
well, maybe because they weren't speaking to you.
Tony. Well, this doesn't speak to me either, honey.
But you haven't watched
those two. But those two leads aren't speaking to me, Queen.
I got that.
To me, it seems like, oh, Billy wanted to make out with a hot guy, so there we go. Let's cast this hot guy.
Sounds like no one was taking the bait at Akbar, so he had to make a movie about it. Zing! But I'm going tonight.
I watched the Fire Island show too, so I'll watch it. So that way I can have an opinion about it.
You know, my thought on it is this, and I felt this way about Fire Island too. Did I like Fire Island? Yes. Did I want it to punch a little bit harder? Did I feel like they completely underused Margaret Cho? Yes. But the fact that something like that exists for queer people to find as they're growing up and coming out is a really great thing. And Bros will add to the ever-growing canon of movies that you can see. Like, did you see Heartbreaker on Netflix? It's the queer teenage British kind of rom-com. It is so cute. It's so funny, and it's so good. It works, and it's just like, yes, that's the kind of thing that you do wish that young queers got to see growing up, because it could be like, oh, I can fall in love, and maybe we're, there's arguments to be made that maybe we're hedonistic monsters because we were never shown any other path.
That's not true though, because in my age, we had there was like, I remember distinctly watching like shows on MTV where they would like, those like fake reality type looking shows where you would see. No, they were like they were like scripted shows. But like they would like push the envelope and like dudes would kiss and whatnot. And so like and like for me, growing up in the 90s, there was gayness around. Like I experienced gay. Like I was not one of these repressed people who didn't suck a dick until they were in their 20s.
No one is accusing you of that, Tony.
So for me, I'm past the idea of like, oh, I want to see them love each other. That's how it's right. No, show me like an all gay fucking casted horror movie that's not fucking people trying to like fall in love. Like give me like gay people that are doing shit that's like normal but doesn't need to show us in a fucking light that makes us palatable for heterosexuals. Like,
well, it's Hollywood, and so you won't see that. But there is an explicitly queer Interview with a Vampire show coming out on AMC.
I'll watch it. I'll watch it. I heard about it. Like Anne Rice was a fucking mad ally, dude. Her gay son fucking is a gay son. Like, yeah. I'll watch it.
And I mean, Interview with a Vampire is a gay ass motherfucking book. And
gay.
And the movie was very homo.
Too undertoned gay. Too undertoned. I need to see some.
But we'll see. Maybe some people are saying this show is too overtoned with it, and it's just not sexy because everyone's just fucking all the time. But I was like, I'll watch it. But look, that's gay. Suck on his blood. You bitch.
Yeah, listen, we be fucking.
We be biting. We be biting.
Oh, also, there's a hurricane happening, but we have come to the end of the show. We've come to the end of the show, so we can't even talk about it. We can't even talk about the hurricane.
We'll wait to see if it does some real danger.
Yeah. I want to see DeSantis's work after the fact, and then
he flails.
Yeah, I hope he absolutely. I hope he
flies over it like George Bush flew over fucking New Orleans after Katrina.
Throwing out fucking bounty.
I hope he throws out. Yeah, Republicans have a real
good luck.
There were a lot of articles this week about how much of a piece of shit DeSantis is and how he lacks total empathy, and he clearly just hates everyone. He's just doing this because he wants fucking power, and people fall in line. And it's a real bummer that we have Charlie fucking Crist running against him in Florida, because what a fucking limp tanned, he's like he's the perfect representation of Florida, just a big old.
He was on The View, and Anna Navarro dug into him. She's like, you weren't good at anything you did. And I was like, well, DeSantis is going to be governor again, and that's fine. That's why I hope he really fucking fails. Florida's not going to get any better in our lifetime, so I'll just stop thinking about him.
Maybe take out a couple 100,000 trailer parks or two, and maybe we'll have a different outcome. Go Ian, go, blow Ian, blow. I don't want death and destruction to happen to the good people there, so I do hope it.
Yeah, good luck. Casey, we have come to an end of the show. Why don't you tell people what you're up to?
You can follow me online. Do we still say that?
Yeah.
On Instagram, Casey Ley stands.
What's your AOL screen name?
Rhode Island Tennis 19 at AOL.com. RI Tennis 19. I wanted people to know I was an athlete back in the day. I don't know. I'm sure I have shows, but I don't know when they are. Tony, what about you?
Just real quick, mention in the class. I love that we're taking it together. I do. Like we've only done 2, but I really, really enjoy doing it. Guys, if you like the Gay Power Half Hour, which you should, because we're fucking really good. You should probably go and find our iTunes page and subscribe to it, rate the show, leave a comment. It really does help. October 3rd is going to be the next Learn the Words Bitch at Akbar. Sign up with Maxwell at 8:30, and the show is at 9. Our guest judges are Eliza Skinner and Charlie Barnett. So come on out for that. Some real movers and shakers in the biz. October 5th is the inaugural night of Battle Babies at Stash in West Hollywood at 10 p.m. Come and find 4 new drag artists that will lip sync battle for your entertainment and a chance in the spot in the finals at the end of the year for a big cash prize of $2,000. I'm the Tony Soto Show on everything that is Instagram, Twitter, and the TikTok. We'll be back next week. Goodbye.